what came out of me very instinctually, very early on, is basically the same thing I've been making for the past 8-9 years. And yet it's changed only in terms of, quality of sound, textures, and thought. But the actual elements were always there. It's really weird. I think it's been the case for as long as I can remember that people are open to new ideas in the dance floor. And I hope it continues. I hope it's not just a fad of like, okay, we can go to 90 BPM these days because that's a cool thing. I hope the spectrum has just gotten large and it will not, get smaller again. Because I think as producers, not just me, all of us, a lot of the people playing today actually, we're all interested in going from, using all the tools we can, whether it's ambient music, whether it's slow, really slow bass heavy music, or it's just straight up 125 BPM house. We're just interested in being able to go there. And having people be ready for that is so amazing and so wonderful. One of the main ideas that I've always tried to develop with my live shows is the idea of giving, and then taking away. So obviously the concepts underneath that are absence and expectations and, things that are very real to us on a human level. But I think, if anything, within our conversation of tempos, that is a very apt, it makes sense to take people from one tempo to the next because it gives them more of something and it takes something away. And I love that idea of taking things away and giving. I feel like it's just, these are very human feelings that we feel when we're very, very tiny and our mother is not there and it's being taken away. And these are strong feelings. Not that I'm thinking about my mother when I'm playing, but I am thinking about absence and about giving, these dichotomies. Feeling, one with the crowd is like the goal every single time. So whenever I have a good show and whenever we have a good show with the band, we definitely come out of it saying the crowd was really there. They were really there with us, and that's one of the main things we say. One of the main kind of positive things about a show is the crowd was there.
Electro is why I'm doing what I do today, pretty much, 100%, I remember hearing Doppler Effect and Juan Atkins and Cybotron for the first time, and that was like, I want to make electronic music. And then I was, trying to get an 808 and trying to get all the equipment that they did, and then I found out they were really inspired by Kraftwerk, and then I was like, wow, Kraftwerk, and I was already listening to Prince and stuff like that, so those influences were there, but just this, it's a typical Detroit story, guys that really didn't know shit about music and just making really interesting electronic stuff. Yeah, I started playing drums when I was pretty young, and then I played piano, and that's pretty much how I write my music, first on piano. Because I think if it has a foundation of songwriting, then you can't go wrong from there. I mean, from my perspective, it's like Detroit was coming up because it was really ghetto kind of do-it-yourself kind of music, and everybody thought it was so amazing because it had the lack of influences. But there's this whole other side to it where it's totally blown out of proportion, and every city, like London, Berlin, everyone has its own kind of style, and influences. Detroit is just another example.
I think the world tends to look quite a lot towards London for new kind of scenes and stuff, and I think it's kind of that mentality is definitely filtered out, you know, and it's such a healthy thing. I mean, even me saying I am a techno artist, like, I listen to all sorts of music, and I think it's only healthy basically to encourage people to do so, you know. And so while I might play a set of like techno, you know, strictly this is what I do, like, it's great that there are DJs who are kind of spanning these boundaries, you know. When I'm on the dance floor and a DJ's playing this kind of sound, and you know, you've been there for an hour, and you just kind of lose yourself in it, like completely lose yourself, and it's very introspective, I find. I mean, looking at Berghain again, you've got Panorama Bar, which is like a complete, like everyone's sort of, everyone's there together, you know. Whereas for me, Berghain downstairs with this kind of really intense, pummeling sound system playing this techno is a really introspective, solitary thing, and almost, it's quite cathartic in a way, I think, you know. And for me, that was really what kind of drew me into this sound and scene. I think it's just important to stay true to what you love, and make and play what you can stand behind and really enjoy, and not necessarily think, well, this is kind of dying off a little bit now, let's move on to something else, or let's kind of go with the flow and it's changed a bit, so I'm going to make a record like that. It's important just to really be able to stand behind what you put out.